Deep breaths from Daniel Palencia. 2-1 offering. Pull right side down the right field line, base hit. It ties the game. Here comes Derek Hill. Rounds third. Throw home. Marlins win.
So apparently, down in sunny South Florida, the temperature in Jesus Sanchez's kitchen, it was hot. Daniel Palencia, he found that out the hard way, trying to come in instead of perhaps going middle away. The end result, an 8-7 Miami Marlins win in the series opener. The Cubs, they had flourished in Game 1 of series, but today, yep, this is not going their way. It's a tough one, and we'll continue to talk about it, so let's get this show on the road. You've just checked in with us right here on Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. I'm Cole Wright. That's Elise Menaker. Ryan Sweeney in attendance. And Elise, this is a tough one. Daniel Palencia is still in search of that first high-leverage save of his career, and he wasn't able to nail it down tonight.
Yeah, look, there's a reason why those last 3 outs are different than any other point in the ball game. And so, you know, he's learning that because he has been put in higher leverage situations. This is just for something, you know, he gives up, well, the ground rule double, the walk then couldn't bounce back after the hit. And then just after that, you know, Tommy Hotovy comes out, tries to settle him down, but the game's on the line and just couldn't come up with that big pitch that he needed. One pitch away, just couldn't find it.
No doubt about it. And Swing Dog, when you throw 102 miles an hour, when it smells like pure gasoline, when it leaves the fingertips, staying middle away, that's paramount.
Well, he was trying to go. My guy, Amaya was trying to go away right there. Just kind of leaked in at 98. I mean, he throws hard. We saw him hit 101.
Yeah.
He gets the first 2 outs, then it was almost like 4 of the next 6 pitches were balls. Couldn't find it, and Sanchez just made him pay. He missed his spot, I should say. And Sanchez, he hit the homer 3-0 in the first at bat. You know he's trying to pull the ball right there. And that's exactly what he did. It's just very unfortunately. I mean, that escalated very quickly with it being 2 outs, and then that happens. I mean, it's almost like you're in shock, right? I mean, Hill had
that was like the one hit, the one spot that would score.
Well, and Hill had a great at bat driving and taking it the other way.
Yeah, confidence.
It was
builder for
113 Sanchez
right
off the bat.
That one
below.
Scorched for sure, but as a left-handed stick, when a righty comes into you, it's almost right in that honey hole, isn't it?
Well, I mean, us standing back and looking and watching, we were talking like I would like to see him go breaking ball down and in, and then try to go heater away, but he just kept pumping the heaters. And I think he was throwing the fastball because he did throw 4 of the last 6 pitches for balls, so he was trying to find it. And like you said, Amaya, you can see here setting up, kind of brushing it, thinking he's going in, setting up off the outside corner, and Sanchez is just full-blown pull mode right there and just pulls it down the first baseline. I mean, good hitting on his part. I mean, that's 98. It's not easy to pull in, but like I said, Palencia missing his spot right there. When you miss your spot in the big leagues, big league hitters make you pay.
They're going to do that, yeah.
He was also 0-2 to Hill before the double. So really, he's like a pitch away. And then the next hitter, the walk. So that's a situation. We've seen, if there was one thing about Palencia in the past, it was the walks. And so you were hoping that in this situation, because he's been really good, he's been better this year about not having those, but this was that situation where you felt like maybe still the double lingering. He knew he was a pitch away, and just that's where I think it's like all the mindset in those situations. The ninth, the last 3 outs, and just needing to bear down but couldn't get that one pitch.
Yeah, being able to put guys away when you have 2 strikes, especially when you have 2 outs, that is the mindset of a closer. And I don't know necessarily if Daniel Palencia is where he needs to be with that mind frame, but could there have been another option? Porter Hodge, you know,
I was wondering if he's available or what's going on, just because, and this is, I mean, I was wondering even as Palencia was out there because he was pitching in the 9th in a close ball game.
He looked fantastic on the first 2 outs, but then he started to slip away.
And he's slowly earning those opportunities. Yeah. I was just wondering.
I mean, he doesn't throw 96 to 98, but you wonder at some point when Pomerantz is going to be the one guy to come in at the end of the game, right? He's given up 0 runs.
I've been wondering the exact same thing,
since he's been with the Cubs.
And as much as we love velocity, myself included, does it necessarily matter how hard you throw to come in and get those final 3 outs? Because like you made mention of Drew Pomerantz, he chews up.
Pomerantz throws 93. He can get it up to 94, but I mean, he just hits his spots. We saw, I mean, he had 1 at bat, I think, where a guy put a good swing on it, but for the most part, I mean, he had righties that were, I think, guessing on his breaking ball, and he just paints a fastball away. So, I mean, I think there's plenty of options that you can put in that, you know, 9th inning, but it's just very unfortunate. You would love to see Palencia be able to pull that off right there.
Because he's got the stuff
he does
for the 9th.
And we've seen closers before with less stuff velocity-wise that have been unbelievably effective. You went 3 for 9 against one of those guys. Mariano Rivera, isn't that right? Oh, 94, but he's going to turn your bat into firewood every time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's one of those guys where he just threw all cutters and you knew it was coming in. It was tough to hit him. But, yeah, I mean, Palencia here, you see again, we just watch it over and over again. I mean, that's 98 center cut.
Michael Busch almost made that play for what it's worth.
Yeah, he did. And, I mean, I think as a first baseman, obviously you got to think the ball's coming to you, but you're not expecting Sanchez to be pulling 100 miles an hour like that.
Yeah, this was a tough one. As we said, tough pill to swallow. The Cubs, they lose in walk-off fashion for the first time all season long. And for the first game of a road trip, this has to be somewhat of a setback, mentally at least.
Well, look, it was a back-and-forth game, but this was still, I mean, you were giving a lot of credit to the bullpen because they were holding it down as it was that back-and-forth. The Cubs gained the lead, and then it was just needing to get that final out. And so, yeah, definitely, this felt like a game that they had in hand and that they could win. That's baseball.
Yeah. It just kind of was back and forth. There really was the 5th and 6th inning where both teams scored 4 runs. So the Cubs went down 2-0, and then they go up 3-2, and then they go back down 6-3, and then they go back up 7-6. So you feel like you have that momentum. You're fighting back. And then in the end, you ultimately can't pull it off. It's just that's kind of a little bit of a blow. I said in the pregame show, when you're going up a team that's 18-27, you feel like, okay, this should be a W. Cabrera threw a good game through the first 5 innings, but it felt like a game that you should win. And when you don't, and it's the first game of the series, look, you can still win 2 of 3, but it's frustrating definitely being game 1 and putting the L on the board.
Yeah, we always like to accentuate the positive here, show you the silver linings in the dark clouds. Today, however, even though it was a loss, it was the first.
We hear you, Michelle.
Of 15 straight versus teams with a sub-500 record. Yep, my man, he had one way of feeling about that one. I feel the same way as you do.
Gladiator,
Mr. Blue Shirt, suspenders, old school 1982 glasses, feeling great about that one. However, Craig, not feeling great about the tough loss. Let's hear what he has to say.
Well, he got tail 0-2, and I think he was trying to throw a slider for a ball, and he just hung it a little bit. So I think the kid put a good swing on it and hit it. Did a nice job. I think he probably got a little tired, honestly, as the inning went on. He's been working really hard and doing a heck of a job, and probably ran out of a little bit of gas there on the walk, and we got a base hit.
Was there anything you liked about him against that special lineup versus Porter?
Porter's going to go on the injured list. He's got a left oblique issue, so he was unavailable.
What did you see from Ben Brown? Obviously recovered from the 2
Yeah, I mean, essentially, I think he just got a little stuck. I mean, he did recover. He got off to a terrible start, awful start. First 2 hitters, recovered, did a really nice job. But it's just middle of the plate stuff. It's too many balls in the middle.
Amaya tonight offensively, he's shown he can have games where he can carry the offense. Just the power stroke that you've seen from him, which was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, 2 huge hits with men on base. I mean, Cabrera looked tough, right? It didn't look like we had much going on, and it felt like we probably needed a big swing, and Miguel gave it to us. So that was a huge one, and then we put together a really good 6th inning. Did some really good things, and he obviously capped it off with a big hit. Yeah, very good. I'm glad he contributed and gets him off to a positive start.
Well, those doggone oblique muscles seem to be running rampant throughout that Cubs clubhouse right about now. Porter Hodge apparently going to be sent to the IL. This is never good news for a Cubs team that, well, when they turn to that bullpen, they're looking for results, Elise.
Yeah, so Palencia goes out there because he has the stuff for the 9th and he's pitched well. You're kind of thinking, okay, and then as he's gone, I'm like, where's Porter?
Yeah, we were asking.
He could be in this situation, and then now we know he has a left oblique strain going on the IL. We know about these obliques. Those can linger, and so you just hope the best for him because he's needed in this bullpen.
So I had a lot of injuries, and the oblique was never one of them. So it's an interesting one where, baseball is so much of a rotational sport with hitting and in pitching. So, yeah, I think with the oblique, it's one of those things where it's more of a feel thing, right? Like if you feel a twinge or something like that.
Like Assad.
But
is going out in his rehab start, feels it again.
But look how long he's been out for.
Exactly.
I mean,
it keeps coming.
It's one of those things where I don't know. It's such a small muscle area where you feel a little tweak. And I think a lot of times, too, psychologically, when pulling a muscle, you feel like, you may not be 100. You want to wait till you're 100% to come back.
Overcompensation comes into play.
100%, because even when you come back, you have that doubt, like, oh man, if I let it loose here, this might happen. So that's interesting to see that now he's out with an oblique too. And like you said, we were wondering, like, hey, where's Porter Hodge at? But I mean, for Daniel Palencia, I mean, you feel bad that he couldn't pull that out there without.
Because it was an opportunity
100%
for him.
Yes, he could have, because he makes that close right there. Who knows? He could be the closer for the next month.
Sure.
And I also, because you just like options for the ninth, because these things do happen where Porter goes down, Ryan Presley is struggling. Maybe he moves back into that spot eventually if he continues to pitch well. Like, you just would like to know that guys can handle the final inning, the final outs of the game. And so this was a chance to see if Palencia could. I don't think it's like never again for him, but I just think that this would have been, like you're saying, ooh, it would have stuck out to you like, that was good.
Need to tread lightly, be cautious with Porter Hodge. Sending him to the IL is probably the best recipe. You don't want that oblique to then turn into him overcompensating with his arm, and then you have a shoulder, perhaps an elbow injury. All about keeping it better safe than sorry. This one, well, sorry, folks, it was a loss.